Today we will replace the factory 128GB SSD in this late 2012 Retina display MacBook Pro model 10.2. We will replace it with a new Aura Pro 512GB SSD by OWC. You can find this at eshop.macsales.com. I will post a link in the description below. For our tools, we will need a flathead screwdriver with electrical tape on the end, a P5 pentalobe bit, a T5 Torx bit, and not pictured, you will also need a T6 Torx bit or a 1.27mm Allen head bit. The kit comes with a hard drive transfer enclosure. This is only to be used with factory Mac SSDs to transfer your data to the new drive once it is installed. Before you start, it is highly recommended to back up your existing hard drive. I used a 1TB external HDD hard drive from OWC. I will post a link in the video description below. To begin, you want to take out all 10 P5 pentalobe screws from the bottom of the Mac. Note, the two P5 pentalobe screws in the center near the hinge are smaller than the rest of the 8 other screws around the edge of the Mac. You may now remove the bottom cover of the Mac by gently prying up near the hinge. You can set this cover to the side for the rest of the project. The first thing you want to do is remove the cover from the bottom of the battery contact board. Next, you will remove the 3 T6 Torx bits on the battery. If you do not have a T6 Torx bit, you may also use a 1.27mm Allen head to remove these bolts. After you remove the first 3 T6 Torx bits, you may remove the plastic cover to expose the final T6 Torx bit holding the battery connector. Finally, you can remove the last T6 Torx bit to release the battery connector from the motherboard. You may bend the battery connector away from the motherboard so it's not connecting. Next, you remove the battery interposer with tweezers or a flathead screwdriver. You may set this aside out of the way. Now we will remove the connector for the SSD from the motherboard. Once that is disconnected, you may remove your SSD by gently pushing in the spring here and pulling out just like this. To remove the SSD, you will remove one T5 Torx bit here and gently pry the SSD out of the bracket. There is one connection on this side and it will only go in one way. You may set your existing SSD aside and grab your new SSD. You will need to align the SSD card slots into the adapters shown. They will only fit one way. Once you slide them in, you will gently push until they fit snug. You can slide them in like so. Once it is in place, the screw hole will align on the back side and you can insert the T5 Torx bit back into the hole and tighten down. Once your new SSD is screwed into the adapter plate, you may reinsert it into your computer. Once it is clipped in with the spring, you may then reconnect the adapter to the motherboard. You may now begin to reconnect your battery. Next, you want to reinstall the battery cover. This may or may not need tape or glue to hold down if your computer is old. Lastly, you want to attach the bottom cover plate back to the computer. Once you get it aligned, you will gently press on the bottom until you hear it click into place. To finish, you want to install your 10 P5 pentalobe screws. You want your two shortest to be installed nearest to the hinge in the center. Once everything is put back together, you are now ready to flip over your Mac, turn it on, and try out your new SSD.